Good morning to you all, and thank you very much for joining us today on Wise Women's Words. My name is Glenda Kroll, and for me, it's about tapping into other people's stories as well as my own. But we all have a history and we all have things that have encouraged us to move forward through some of our darkest moments. And why I share these things is because I believe that other people, when they hear stories, it helps them to move forward in their life. Sometimes we all don't have that power within ourselves to get up and move forward. And that is why I come to you and share others' stories, because what I'm hoping through my own coaching as a life support coach and helping women to get up and move forward and believe in themselves, because at times through my own life where I lost hope and I pushed and pulled through those hard times, I believe that when we share our stories, we help others to do the same. So today I'm coming to you with an incredible woman who I found on social media and started tapping into her and was just so blown away. Nicole has worked in the TV industry for over 8 years, specializing in lifestyle and entertainment news. She is an adventure seeker and passionate about the arts. Nicole joined the team of ET Canada in 2015, where she hosted and produced digital content like Beauty Beast, Fashion Fridays, and The Bachelor Breakdown. She has interviewed listeners such as Meghan Markle, Gal Gadot, Chris Evert, Backstreet Boy, AJ McLean, Nelly, and so many others. She has backstreet interviewed the Victoria's Secret Angels and Victoria's Secret fashion show in Paris. And she has now moving forward into other areas, even as New York Fashion Week. Nicole has hosted events like City Moguls, Fashion Weeks, fashion shows, Children's Make-A-Wish Foundation, Southland Hospital fundraisers, and many more. In the last 2.5 years, she has worked as a live eye reporter at Breakfast Television and Canada's Best Morning Show. There, Nicole produced and lived content daily. She is known as the Yes Girl, who not only jumped out of planes, oh my God, and really is an ambassador for community. She supports local businesses, and any chance she gets, her platform is to help others in need. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce to you Nicole Servinis. Please welcome her.
Hi,
Nicole,
Glenda. You're so sweet. That's a huge introduction. Thank you.
well, I am so amazed when I started looking at you. Like, I've seen you on BT and I've seen you in so many other things, and I just went, wow, this woman is sensational. And we all know that, where you are today is not where you started from. And I know that life has a journey. And, sometimes when we're, like I've said, I do this because part of what I do in my coaching is helping women, high achieving women who, we all have that time when we fall down. And
hmm
I've been through my own, and when we fall down, we need that encouragement and that strength from others who have been there to pull us up. So please share with us a bit of your story. Go back and tell us about where you started, and because where you are now, this gorgeous, beautiful woman who looks
No,
strong, and all the rest certainly didn't start out that way.
thank you so much. I couldn't agree with you more. And like you're saying, Glenda, I've had moments in my life as well, and I think it's very common for people to feel down and out, feel a little bit lost and low. And it helps to hear other women's stories because if it's the idea if they can do it, you can do it. And so hopefully a little bit of my story can inspire somebody else. I know listening to other women always inspires me, that's for sure, because I mean, I think it was just yesterday I called my mom crying saying, oh, like I'm feeling like crap lately, and my mom's my person to help me feel better, that's for sure. But a little bit about my story. So I was born and raised in Richmond Hill, and in a very loving family. I have awesome, really supportive parents, and was put into competitive sport at a young age because we were just active people. We, as in my brother and I, we were always kind of involved in things, and I was very involved even in like school clubs and that sort of thing. And I really was driven and motivated, and I wanted to be the best that I could be, whatever it was in, whether it was school or sport. And specifically, I was competing in dance and figure skating for years. And then in high school, it was just kind of the realization in careers class. It was like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I thought to myself, well, I know I don't want to be a dancer because I don't want to move to LA and do the whole audition thing, and I don't want to own a dance studio. I love teaching. I did that on the side during school always when I stopped dancing, but it wasn't something that I could see myself doing in the long run.
Right.
And then we were in class, and I'm then thinking of all the things that I'm good. I'm good at English. I like talking to people. I like enjoy like kind of connecting with people. And then there was we were looking through doing a test, and it was like, oh, journalist would be a good career position for you. And I was like, oh, that's something I would never really think of. And but what's funny is even before that happened, I was always kind of enthralled, I would say, by the idea that like media can connect so many people. And I think the moment in that careers class was the idea of like, oh, like this would be the greatest job to kind of connect all the things that I really am passionate about doing. And so then I was really lucky. Like I know a lot of people don't get that kind of aha moment, or they don't get it until say like second degree in university, where and I feel for people because it's really difficult to kind of discover that passion. And I feel really blessed to have discovered that early on, because then I could really streamline into the field that I wanted. So I was able to do like a co-op at Rogers TV, and that's when I learned kind of the world of television, and that's what confirmed it for me for sure, was being in it, in the field, watching how a show was produced. I was very close to a reporter and producer there, Julia Supa, who mentored me, who was amazing, and really showed me how it all worked, kind of thing, from every angle, every position, whether it was like editing, camera, production, reporting, all of it. So that was really a great like eye opener. And then for university, I mean, it was an easy choice. I tried to apply to all the schools that were specializing and had really reputable journalism programs. So Ryerson was one of them. They have a radio and television and a journalism program. And I know Western had a good communications program, Seneca. And then on a whim, I had a high school teacher of mine that knew that I was dancing competitively, and I would always, say like I love the beach, and whenever we go on vacation, I'm like a beach bum, and that's kind of how I'm like laid back in that way. And so he said to me, he's like, Hawaii has like a dance scholarship thing, and they have a good journalism program if you wanted to go out there, because my daughter's best friends whatever went there. And he was like, I could totally see you doing it, Nicole. And I was like, yeah, right. Like, there's no way. He's like, just look into it. You never know. So I looked into it, and my parents had a heart attack, and they were like, no. but we're like supportive along the whole way, because it was a process of interviews, and I had to do like a dance audition video, and then there was a live one, and then there was another interview, but then there was like referrals. It was a process, because the only way that I could afford to go there was on scholarship. And so it was a lengthy audition process, and I got into the Ryerson program, and I was like, that was the plan, to go there. And then I got a phone call one day, and it was like, oh, we're calling from Hawaii Pacific University, and we want to offer you a full scholarship to attend our school for 4 years. And I was like, is this a joke? Like, is this really the school? Are you kidding? Because it was a different phone number, obviously different area code. Yeah. And she's like, no, like, this is a real deal. So like, let us know if you want to do this. And I got the phone. I told my parents, and I was like, I got to go, right? And they're like, yeah, go for a year and see how you feel. And if you really love it, like, you stay. And if not, and they were devastated. I was super close to my family. So they're like, no, but yes, because they're so happy for me. And I was so excited about this new chapter. So I moved there for a year. I lived by myself. I was terrified, 18 years old, never been my own before, didn't know anybody, lived with 2 other roommates. And it was a really interesting experience, where not only was I learning to like be an adult, but I was learning like the dance team that I was on, the scholarship, was so demanding. It was like just crazy scheduling. Like Americans are super intense, and we were two-time national champions that year, which goes to like to tell like it's like there's a lot of work that's involved. You don't just win like across America. So it was a really big deal. It was an awesome experience. But I mean, and I wrote for the school newspaper and tried to do extracurricular. But again, it was like I was focusing on dance. And then it was the realization like, I'm still not going to do this. So I want to dedicate more time to furthering myself and what's going to be my career. So I decided to leave. I came back and I transferred to Ryerson. And
Great school.
and then I did, yeah, great
Yeah,
school. I
great school.
honestly like it's when people ask me why I went there or what I think of the program, it is anyone that I've spoken to, it is just like the perfect combination of theory and practical. It's like they teach you the nuts and bolts, but then you get to go out and do assignments. And that is like being out is the best experience that I could ever recommend in
Absolutely.
doing, right?
And it connects you also to the people outside, which is so important, right?
Exactly, exactly. Professors were great. A lot of them were still like working in the field even part time. So it's great to like they were even so kind and offering connections and advice. And I honestly I can't say enough about the program. But third year, we had an option to do an exchange, and I wanted to travel again. I was like, oh, I'm in Toronto too long. I need to leave. So I went to do an exchange in Australia. I went further
Yeah.
away from my parents.
Mhm.
But I love them. I love them. And I lived there. Again, went by myself. I didn't know anyone. I lived there for a year, traveled around, and went to school there. And it was amazing. Best experience of my life. I love that more than I loved Hawaii. Not in terms of the place, but I think it was just I was able to kind of without like the dance, I was able to enjoy where I was and do more and see more. And so it was an awesome experience. I was sad to come home, but I had to because my visa was up. And then I finished my degree at Ryerson and in between actually. So at Ryerson, my third year, so half the semester before I went to Australia, I did a internship like undercover, I would say. And this is probably not allowed now, but back in the day, things were a little bit different. At City TV, it was just like I was like, hey, because City TV is right in the same campus as Ryerson, so
Mhm.
I was like, you need help with anything? And they're like, yeah, sure. Like, come on in however often you want. And that's how I did it. And I worked with producer there and we did entertainment and it was really fun. I was like a production assistant kind of doing research questions, writing. I shadowed Mary Kitchen and who is now in LA and works for CBS and then Sandy Chronopoulos, who is now the executive producer of Cityline. And
So at that
so, yeah,
time,
it was
were you volunteering more so
I
than
was,
you were?
oh, big time.
So
It was a
let's
lot
tell,
of,
especially young people that are listening here. Yeah, I know a lot of people, and sorry to interject, but I want to
no,
capture on these key points. I tell people like when you're starting out a career, and I've said that even I tell my own kids when they start out things, like it's not about getting the pay. It's
hmm
making the connections and getting the experience that counts the most because that's going to catapult you to incredible opportunities.
I could not agree with you more. Networking is so underrated. And I don't think actually schools do enough of kind of uh, letting kids know how important that is. Because when you send your resume in a pool of thousands of resumes for a job, it's the person who knows you who's going to pull out your resume. Like that's the real. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. And the working for free, there was a lot of it. I did that a lot. I had several part-time jobs to like make money while volunteering. And it's just what you do. It's same thing. Like it's like you pay your dues, you work really hard to get the experience and the knowledge. That way when you feel like you're at a point and you'll know when you're like, okay, now I deserve to get paid for what I do. Like you'll get to that point and you'll have that experience under your belt where you can say, I know how to do this, this, and this. That's why I deserve to get paid. So So yeah, paying your dues was definitely important, and it sucks. It really sucks, but everyone does it. Everyone, and you come out on top. Promise. You'll find a way to make money. That's for sure. It's a grind, and that's what I did in my 20s. I honestly, it was just like go go go, because so then a part of my program internship at Ryerson, I interned at Entertainment Tonight Canada. I was an intern there, and I was just telling the story on a podcast. It was my professor had said, don't apply there. Like, you're not going to get it, and then you won't get a job after. So there's no point in trying. She literally said that. And I was just like, devastated. I was like, oh, like, should I not do it? And again, my mom is my best friend and biggest supporter. And she was like, do it. You're going to regret it. I bet you anything. Like, just do it. Apply, because you're going to regret it if you don't. And I bet you you'll get it. And I was like, Mom, it's because you're my mom. And then I got the internship. She was right. And then I interned there, the same thing. Like I worked my butt off and like would go in early every day. I stayed late every day. I did everything from being the coffee girl. The interns are the coffee girl. That's just, it is
And
what it
it is
is.
what it is, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I
Yeah,
made the best darn coffee that I could possibly make.
I love it.
And yeah, like volunteered for as many things as I could. And then when I finished, I was like, oh my God, now what am I going to do? Like, I don't even know what I'm going to do with my life now, because there were no positions open. And I was like, oh, professor was right. What am I going to do? And ET had said, keep in contact with us. Like, if something comes up, like, we'll let you know. And then I got offered a reporter position in Edmonton for City TV. And I was so ready to take it. And then again, my mom had talked me out of it. She's like, just give it a year. Like, stay here, keep volunteering and work part-time, do whatever you need to do. You're going to be miserable in Edmonton. Like, it's not for you. So just like wait it out. And if after a year you don't get anything, then move out there and you pay your dues there. And then you could come back. It's like those are the kind of the two options. You either move to a small town or you stick it out and hope you get lucky, or that someone thinks of you for something. And it was so wild. So I went in at Christmas time to go say hello, network, be like, I'm a free agent,
Yeah.
I'm available. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had said to me, they're like, actually, we have a New Year's Eve show in Niagara Falls, and we'd love for you to be a floor director, which is like you're on the floor kind of thing with talent. You wear a headset and you cue people where to go, what to do, that sort of thing. And it was like thousands of people that were, I think it was like 20,000 people. They had Nick Jonas, they had Demi Lovato, I think it was like Keith Urban, and Lights were like the headlines. And at the time, I had a vacation booked with a boyfriend that I was dating at the time at that during that New Year's Eve. So when they asked me, so do you want to take the gig? Like, you're going to get paid for it too. And I was like, yep, I'll do it. And then afterwards I called him. I was like, so I can't go on the trip. I'm going to cancel. You can go and we'll get your buddy to go with you, or we can postpone it. Needless to say, he was very upset with me and broke up with me. And I went to go work the event. It was amazing. I was like in the middle of like all these people, and I got to meet all the celebrities, and I was with our talent. I was with Cheryl Hickey and Sangeeta Patel and Rick Campanelli, and it was so much fun. I was freezing. It was like minus 35 and we were outside for like 7 hours, but it was one of the most incredible experiences. And a week later they called me and I got a full-time position. So had I not like canceled that trip, I wouldn't have gotten the job, because they wouldn't have thought of me for it. So It was the sacrifice in that in the long term paid off. And then I was there for 5 years. I got to do amazing things and I learned so much. My mentor there was Jesse Barkley, who was a supervising producer. Now he works in another division at Chorus, but he was just amazing in so many ways. And I credit a lot of what I know to him. And yeah, mentorship is really important, I think, in life, in career.
that was what I was just going to touch upon.
Yeah.
Let's talk. Let's stop for a second and let's talk, because I'm a coach, but I have my own coaches and mentors as well. So I just think that part of life is so important. So it's very important that people have an open mind to accepting things. And I hear this a lot of times when I especially I do a session with people if they're thinking about mentorship or coaching, and we sit down and we talk about it, and because these are the people that are struggling, and it's like, oh, but I don't have the money for it. And it's like, we always find the money for the things that we need, or no, sorry, what we want. We want that dress. We want, we want to go
It's true.
We want those shoes, those could be $100 shoes, but we want them, and we spend money. But we don't find the money on things that will catapult us up to another level, because that's something, it's something that we don't see. Tell me how your feelings are about mentorship and coaching.
I could not agree with you more. I think it's like, it's intangible, so it's hard for people to understand and see the benefit of it without experiencing it. And I can tell you, like, firsthand, I honestly wouldn't be where I am without the mentors that I've had in my life. And it takes that one-on-one coaching to really develop in yourself. Like, it's one thing to take general advice and you can apply it to yourself, but sometimes you need the one-on-one specific coaching, and it just always, I think, can bring you to the next level that maybe you didn't even think that you were capable of, because someone has holding your hand to get there, and sometimes you need that little push, because it's hard to do it yourself, and there's always self-doubt. And I think that's a part of it too. I think that's why people are less inclined to do it, because it's almost like fear. It's like, oh, if I invest in this, then like I really have to make it happen. It's the unknown of kind of really putting yourself out there to get there and invest in that people are a little bit afraid of because of the uncertainty. But I think that's something to embrace. If there's anything that I've learned, especially in the last few months, it's scary is good. Being uncomfortable is good. It means growing. And and it's super hard. Trust me, I struggle with that a lot, but every day is a new day, and you just have to keep telling yourself, and again, rely on your coaches, your mentors, your friends, and your family, and believe in yourself, most importantly.
Okay, and I read somewhere, what do you think when somebody says no to you?
You say, okay, thanks for your opinion. I'm going to do it anyway.
I love it, right? And I read a quote that I know all too well. People will forget what you say, but will never forget how you feel, how you make them feel. So it's that connection of having with people is just, well, that's what life is.
It is. I think that's the beauty in life. And I've been really lucky that I've had a career that allows me to do that, not even on a personal level, but on a professional level. And God, it's the best thing. And that's why this past couple of years with COVID has been so difficult, because the pro is that we've been able to connect in a way that I don't think anyone thought possible, that Glenda, you and I are doing right now, that we're connecting, that maybe in the regular life we wouldn't have been able to, pre-COVID, because it's just, you wouldn't think anything of it, right? But now we've had to rethink and reshape the way that we interact with one another, but it's also presented so many other opportunities. So it's hit and miss. And I would love to do this in person one day, and I hope that we can, because that human interaction, I don't think can ever be replaced by technology. But I look forward to the day that we can do that, for sure.
And it's very important, some of it, I believe I really connect up well with people, because I can feel people's energy, but I can feel your energy here, and I can see, even from watching other interviews with you, I can feel how you shine. You're a shiner. I love people
You're
that.
so sweet.
No, but you can feel the goodness in people. You can see the shiningness in people. And it's so much once you get connected to them, and I have a little dream that's going to come true but I'm not going to get it involved. The one day I'm going to put together an event with having some incredible women together, bring them all together
Nice.
and share the stories. And you'll be part of it because that's part of what I do.
Thanks,
It's
Glenda.
people together, but that coming together is so important. But we learned something from all this. I know COVID taught me some crazy important lessons of being alone, but not really being alone. It's another world of coping through all this. And I'm always one person that looks at there's always the other end. I look on the other side. Things might be rough for me, but there's a lot of people that are having harder times than I am.
Yeah.
And this is how that's one of my coping mechanisms is always tapping into the other guy who's really having a harder time coming through. What are some of your coping mechanisms that you have dealt with?
That is a great one. My parents remind me of that all the time. They kind of paint the picture like, so you have your house, you have a roof over your head, you have food on your table. There's so many people in the world that don't have any of that, and you have family. Like put things in perspective. I think that is huge for sure. And I think another coping mechanism for me, honestly, is physical, like fitness. Is for me like mental wellness. That's how it translates. When I like take care of myself and I'm active and I either go for a run or a walk or whatever it is, when I get moving, that's kind of my time to check out and recharge. And it does so much. And I forgot how much that it does to me. So when COVID first happened, I was in my condo alone for a few weeks and I was like going crazy. And I was like, because I was not working and I like didn't know what to do with myself. And I was like, oh, like I'm just so frustrated. I don't know what to do. And it was just kind of a moment of like, okay, so like how can I do things and connect with people, like you're saying, like just rethink the way that I do it. And one of the things that I did daily that helped me so much, I was doing afternoon workouts. I would stream them live on Instagram and I would have people join in. And it was a way, not only like did it get me up and moving and motivated to do something because I was held accountable, but it was so nice to be able to connect with people. And we would chat and say like, oh, today's a crappy day. Like I feel like crap, but we're going to move. And then after we're going to feel better. And that's exactly what it was. And it helped tremendously. And I've always been an active person, but I mean, like anyone, you're human and you go through waves where some days it's really hard and other times it's really easy to be motivated. So that is definitely a release for me.
Yeah, I walked, gyms being closed also, I discovered exercise not until I was like around 19 when the weight started climbing. Well, I was in a job where I was traveling a lot. And so my life became work 24/7. And at the end of that time, I found myself at my peak. And that's when I started working out. And from that point on, I've never given up on it. And,
Good for
when
you.
gyms closed down, it was like, oh my God, what am I going to
Yeah.
do? And I just started walking, and I had a friend of mine that we started connecting. So all winter long, it didn't matter what the temperature was. It was awesome. You get out, and you walk. And it is like, I'm an advocate of it. Because I know there's a lot of people, like I do yoga and all different other things, but there's a lot of people that don't. And it's just, I do a walk and talk and let's move because it changes your whole mindset, like
big time.
And let's all face it. We're just humans and we all have times when we fall down. So this is part of why I do this, is because I want people to realize it doesn't matter. Like, we're all the same. Nobody's different, and we all have times when we fall. And that's why, reach out to people, lend a hand. If you're struggling, don't struggle by yourself. You don't, everybody wants to help. If somebody asks you for help, it's what, it's so incredibly wonderful how people today, and maybe part of it is what happened through COVID, but so many people today won't say no anymore.
Mhm.
I reached out to you and you jumped at it. It's just people are
Because
just
you're so lovely in your email, that's why. I could feel the energy through the email. I was like, this woman seems awesome. Let's do it.
but it's all about being there for one another. Like what
Yeah.
a way, like I believe if I can touch somebody's heart and their world, if I can make one life different in my lifetime, I've done a great job.
I could not agree with you more. I that's exactly it. That's the same thing. If you can put a smile on someone's face or make someone feel good or inspire them in some way, you
Right?
did your job, you know? That's there's nothing greater than that.
Like that to me is an accomplishment of life.
Mhm.
And what is life worth if you can't make somebody else's world just a little bit better, maybe by that
Yeah.
smile, maybe by that touch, maybe by that, just that moment that you pass by somebody on the street who might be having a rough day and they see a smile on your face and you go and you can change that world into them. It's crazy, but it's true.
It is so true. The little things are so underrated. One of my best friends is so great at this, and she reminded me of this like years ago. We met actually in Hawaii at school, and it's so funny. She just is like quirky and has the biggest heart. And we would go out sometimes, and she would just walk up to a stranger and be like, "I just want to tell you that you look great today." And I would laugh and I'd say, "Oh, Emily, you're so sweet." And she would say, "No, I think they should know." And I was like, you know what? You're right. Like, I don't think enough people like say that to people and realize like what it does for them. And I hear her voice in my head all the time. And if I'm standing in line or whatever, and now I do it in my life of like, if I see someone, I'm like, you should know you look great today. And it's so nice because the person obviously like smiles right away, is so grateful, and it's just a nice gesture, you know, that doesn't go unnoticed or underappreciated ever.
Ever, and it's so nice to be, because women look at each other, and I worked for years in the retail field of
Oh,
women's fashion. Yeah, I've done many things, so and
that's why you look so good.
another story. Yeah. Thank you. But, women are sometimes very hard. It can be, I work through with women, I've worked through with men, and there's just so different between the two. And women can sometimes be very cutthroat, very catty. And it's very shameful because the whole idea of why, another reason why I do this is we're supposed to be building each other up and not knocking each other down. And it doesn't hurt. I love to see a woman who's dressed well and can carry
Mhm.
herself. It's like, wow, I love it. And isn't it remarkable when you can tell somebody, and the same thing, walking by the street and just say, wow, you are gorgeous. And it
Yeah.
makes you feel good, but watch how their posture, watch how their whole
Mhm.
face changes. It's just a beautiful thing that you can do for another person. Men, women, it
100%.
doesn't matter, and
No.
that's what it's all about. So tell me, you see people, obviously things didn't go, always go quickly going from one job to the other. When you were struggling during times, what were some of the things that kept you going instead of, falling down and saying, okay, I give up? What kept you going?
That's a really good question. A few things for sure. I mean, the first thing being my friends and family. The support system is everything, and I think even if you don't have someone that you could normally like, if you don't have close family members, talk to your friends, and if you don't, then talk to a coach, or even in therapy. I like could not recommend that more, to have someone to talk to. I think that's really really important, that you can be your authentic self, and uh and ask for a little bit of guidance and a little bit of support. Sometimes just knowing that someone's going to catch you if you fall is everything, that you can like rest easy. And the other thing is, it's really funny. Like a lot of what you're saying, Glenda, is what I do of listening to podcasts and reading books and hearing stories of other women or other people, even individuals who have kind of overcome adversity and have gone through lows in life and bounced back up. Hearing other stories is really inspiring, and it's the whole idea that translates. If someone else can do it, then I can do it. That's how history is made. Like, that's how things happen. That's how people innovate. That's how people um grow and accomplish their dreams, is because of that moment of believing in yourself. And I think it's easier said than done, for sure. But those two things were really helpful for me in kind of reshaping the way that I think. It's all in here. It's like the power of the mind is everything. If you think a certain way, that's exactly what's going to happen. If you think positively, I believe in the law of attraction, and I'm huge on that. If you believe in positivity and you put that out into the universe, that's exactly what will come back. And that's with the way that you treat others, with what comes to you, with love, what comes to you with friendship, what kind of people you attract, what kind of jobs you attract. So it's really kind of keeping that going and getting into the right mindset that really helped me kind of take the next step and pick yourself up, so to speak.
So I believe that you can't throw away the feelings that you're feeling. We need to feel those
Acknowledge,
feelings,
yeah, and feel it.
right? You need to acknowledge what's going on. You find out where it's coming from, what it is, but you don't stay in it. The whole idea is, I call them pity parties. It's, years ago when I went through a time when my life fell apart and I had to recreate myself again. So, it was another one of those chapters in my life. And, I had a friend who was saying, life sort of fell apart and it was time to come back. And she said, okay, I'm going to give I'll give you a day. You're allowed a day of a pity party. And I said,
yeah,
I think I'm going to need 2 days to have my pity party. And she said, okay, I'll allow you 2 days then. And we laughed about it. And then after day 2, it was like day 1, stayed in bed, couldn't get up. Day 2, it was, okay, today I'm going to get up and take a shower. And then that was my sign. And then day 3, it was, okay, now it's time to get up and rebuild. So it's feeling that. I don't believe that we should just go from thinking and say, okay, well, I'm not allowed to feel bad. You're allowed to feel bad. Like, okay, what's your step? So do you, I'm huge on the law of attraction. I have manifested so many crazy things in my life. I still look back and going, oh my God, people said things wouldn't happen for 10 years. And within a year, I had these things, just crazy things that have happened in life. And so, but I believe I always have an end goal. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but somehow I always get there. So do you have goals or dreams or visions?
I do. And in like my personal life and my professional life. I mean, in my personal life, I want to have a family and have kids one day and own a house and have the whole picket fence dream, And then on a professional level, I definitely want to own and produce and host my own show, and I'm currently like working on that, developing of like different ideas. So and it's bracing myself too, of like, if the first one doesn't work, I'm going to keep trying, and maybe that's not it. But that's definitely the end goal, Glenda, that I don't know how I'm going to get there. I mean, there's a million things I'm doing right now that I hopefully will get there, but I know it's going to be a roller coaster, but I'm hanging on and ready for the ride.
Yeah. And never allow that no to be no. Like,
exactly.
For me, no means no at the moment. But it doesn't mean, you can keep asking. I never will allow a door to be shut, right?
Yeah.
It's if someone you keep knocking at that door. If you know that that's that right door for you, it's like, okay, would you maybe consider it again?
Yeah. some people do that as a test. It's so funny. Somebody had told me that once. They said they're like, if I say no to someone and they don't come back asking again, then I know they didn't really want it that bad. I'm like, huh. So yeah, it's the idea of never taking that for an answer if you really want it bad enough.
So if you were to give somebody who is starting out in life or maybe starting over again in their life and they needed to figure out what they wanted in their life, what type of little golden nuggets would you be able to give to them?
I think for me, I always feel really inspired when I travel. When I go somewhere where it's unknown and you don't know anybody is when you really find who you are and what you want. And sometimes meeting new people, seeing new things, it makes what you want more clear. So I really like putting myself in uncomfortable situations. I feel like that's when like the beauty kind of comes out and things become more clear. So even if it's like going to a small town and walking around or taking a trip somewhere that you've always wanted to go. If you're starting out, that's the time to do it because you're gonna find so much clarity in doing that.
And even if you're scared?
Even if you're scared, that means it's right to do it. That's the confirmation that you're doing the right thing if you're scared. I have a friend right now who is traveling and she was going for a wedding with a bunch of people and then she said, like I'm all the way over there. Like I kind of want to go somewhere by myself. I kind of want to go somewhere. She said, but nobody can come with me. I was like, go by yourself. She's like, yeah, why don't I go by myself? She's like, I'm gonna be fine, right? I'm like, yeah, you're gonna be fine. Go. Like, and if you need anything, you call us and we're here for you. But you're very capable and you should go. And she did. And so I'm excited to hear what's happening. She just left the other day, but it's that idea. It's like you're gonna figure it out. Trust in yourself. It will, like everything will always work out. I really believe that. It just somehow, and it may not be the way that you want it to be or the way that you anticipated it to be,
Yeah.
but it will work out and everything will be okay. And yeah, just trust in that.
I love it. I love it. So that is that is what my mantra is. It's always been through my life. No matter what, everything always works out anyways. It's
Yeah.
crazy what it always does. So, stop spending those times worrying because you're wasting your time. When you worry, you put yourself into the future and nobody knows what the future is. So stop
If we only knew.
But then if we only knew, then you would miss out where you are at the moment.
Yeah, it's true.
And you miss out who you're with, or like if I was thinking about worrying about what tomorrow is, I wouldn't be enjoying that I'm spending this time where I am right now and learning about this incredible woman who's in front of me. So it is all about enjoying that moment. Mm-hmm. So I am very appreciative of your time and I'm very respectful of it. I want to thank you so very much for giving me your time today and allowing me to come into your home and get to know you a little bit better. And you're just beautiful and awesome. And I wish you all the best of luck in the world. And I can't wait to be watching you and seeing where you're going to be going.
Thank you so much, Glenda. This was such a wonderful, unexpected surprise, and I've loved getting to know you as well. You are radiant, and I have no doubt a really wonderful coach. Anyone who is a client of yours is very lucky to have you, and I feel lucky to have gotten to meet you today. So thank you for this opportunity and this platform again, and I look forward to the day that we can meet in person for sure.
Absolutely. And for ladies and gentlemen who is watching, the whole idea of this is don't get up. Don't get up. Ah! No, don't allow yourself.
Don't give up.
Don't give up. Life is so much worth it. Take just one little step. That's all it is one little step forward. And just, if you can't get out of bed, just get out of bed and just take that one shower and then just pat yourself on the back for doing that in that day. And just remember, it's those little things that we need to celebrate one step at a time. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look so forward to coming back to you with Wise Women's Words and letting us learn all about how we can move forward in our lives. Thank you so much, and make sure you have that awesome day for yourself. Thank you. Bye for now.